The Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban administration has agreed to a temporary ceasefire for 48 hours, according to Pakistan's foreign ministry, after fresh fighting erupted between the neighbors. The tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan have sharply escalated after the deadliest exchange of fire. The clashes followed strikes last Thursday in Kabul and the border province of Pak-tika that the Taliban blamed on Pakistan. Pakistani military spokesperson Lieutenant General Ahmad Sharif Chaudhry claimed that there is evidence of Afghanistan being used as the base for operations to carry out terrorism in Pakistan. In response to last week's assault, the Taliban launched retaliatory strikes near the Kunar and Nangarhar border areas, claiming to have killed 58 Pak soldiers. Pakistan called the assault unprovoked and said its own counter-strikes killed more than 200 fighters. According to Associated Press, Pakistani and Afghan forces also clashed on Tuesday in a remote area along the northwestern frontier. Pakistan has long accused Kabul of harboring the Pakistani Taliban or TTP, a charge that Taliban denies. The violence coincided with Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Muttaqi's visit to India. India announced plans to reopen its embassy in Kabul. On this issue, I am joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri and Major General Rajan Kocher. Let me straight away go to Ambassador Sikri. Madam, two things. Thank you both of you for joining me. Why has the fighting flared in this part of the world? Is it only because of the Durand Line issue or the repatriation, or there is something deeper which is missing our eye?
Well, I think quite frankly, of course, Afghanistan and Pakistan have very deep differences. Pakistan accuses Afghanistan of sheltering the TTP, the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is the Pakistan Taliban, and of sheltering them, giving them training camps, and then using them against Afghanistan. But the Foreign Minister Muttaqi, who was here, said very clearly that there is no TTP now on Afghan soil. They are all in Pakistan and they are attacking their own government as they wish. But basically, I think the aerial attacks by Pakistan on Kabul, this is what has triggered this present round of differences. And I think that this aerial attack was timed by Pakistan. They said they are attacking it, just like Israel attacked Doha, Pakistan attacked Kabul thinking they're going to kill some TTP leaders there, but that was completely unsuccessful. I think this attack was timed to disrupt Foreign Minister Muttaqi's visit to India. It took place on the very first day of Foreign Minister Muttaqi's visit to India, and Pakistan may have expected that the moment we do this, Foreign Minister Muttaqi will, cut short his visit and rush back to Kabul and so on. But none of this happened, and in fact, I remember at a VF meeting where Foreign Minister Muttaqi addressed the audience and I was there, he said, oh, there's something from Pakistan and nothing happened in Kabul. There were just a few shots. He was quite dismissive of the whole thing. But we do know that Afghanistan planned a retaliation, and on Sunday, Foreign Minister Muttaqi gave a second press conference in Delhi. He did not leave Delhi. He went to Darul Uloom Deoband and he came back to Delhi on Sunday, gave another press conference saying that Afghanistan has counterattacked and claiming to have killed 58 Pakistan soldiers and so on. Now, this is another attack by Pakistan on Afghanistan last night and early today morning, which is stretching from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kuram, right till Baluchistan, Spin Baldak, on Baluchistan in Pakistan and Spin Baldak on the Afghan side. So again, very, very strong, very detailed clashes. Afghanistan claims to have taken a tank away from Pakistan. They were parading it, but it's a long pending dispute. The present regime in Afghanistan does not have good relations with Pakistan, despite the fact that Pakistan claimed almost to install this government because they were there. The ISI chief was there on the first day. But these differences are very serious, and I think that both Qatar and Saudi Arabia are trying to stop. There's been a 48-hour truce, as you mentioned, but I don't think these differences are going to go away in a hurry. They're going to remain.
Okay. General Kocher, two questions. One is to have differences, and second, to have violent confrontation with your own alma mater. That's one. And the second issue is that Pakistan is so deeply invested in the entire infrastructure of Taliban, and even then they end up fighting. There has to be some reason to it.
Thank you, Karthik. These reasons are very, very deep. Actually, they go back into their psyche and their history, because if you remember, basically there was a talk about Pashtunistan also in this area, and the areas of Afghanistan where the Pashtun population is there, and the area of Pakistan where Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is there. There is a desire among the people to get together, and that is why we see this TTP also. A second aspect is, see, till 2022, I would say that the relations between Tehreek-e-Taliban and Pakistan were quite okay. They started drifting apart for 2 or 3 reasons, and one of them was, if you see, in Afghanistan, they want to have a Shariat law to take place in the entire Afghanistan. That is why the women are being discriminated upon in that area. They would like to spread this in the form of a jihad on the across this side of the border also. That is one ideological difference between Taliban and Pakistan, and that is why we see this divide, because Pakistan is a slightly more liberal state. It is dominated by Punjabis. It does not give importance to Pashtuns, and the Pashtun area is largely underdeveloped. So that is the second reason why antagonization is there on the part of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. And the third is, please remember one thing. For the last more than 20 years, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has fought along with the Taliban. And on all these fights against the regimes in Afghanistan, including the Americans, they have fought together. So to abandon them at this stage, when these from the Pakistani side we see this strike, I don't think the Taliban leadership is going to do that. And one more important aspect which we would like to bring here is about the Durand Line. Durand Line has been a source of friction between Afghanistan and Pakistan even before Taliban came into power. This has been a long-standing dispute between those two countries, and it has continued because what Pakistan is trying to show to Afghanistan like a big brother, it is trying to bully Afghanistan at every step. So now Taliban or Afghanistan have taken a stand. No longer any kind of bullying is there, and that is why the outreach to India now, the outreach to China now, because Taliban is now wanting an international stage to actually come onto the international stage to get recognized as a stable country, and that is why if the statements of their foreign minister India and the number of press briefings he has given, he is trying to sell to everybody that Afghanistan is a very stable country. Please come here to do business, and we will protect all the business interests of all the countries which are coming to Afghanistan. So it is a direct message to Pakistan that we don't need you any longer. If you think that you can bully us and dictate to us how to run Afghanistan, we are not going to take it, because we are not the Taliban of 2021.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Pashtun politics predates the idea of Pakistan. Afghanistan came 200 years ago. Islam came 800 years back. But the Pakhtun was standing before both of them. I mean, that's the saying. And yes, madam, I was coming to you. Is this a recent phenomena? Both Baluch areas and Pakhtun areas getting slightly out of control of Pakistan influence. If you look at the unrest in Baluchistan, if you look at the unrest in the Pakhtun areas, two prominent militarized ethnicities overlapping in Afghan areas, Iran and Pakistan areas, and Pakistan army not being able to control them?
Yeah, well, actually, we do know that within Pakistan, the situation, internal situation is very, very weak. You have rightly mentioned that the Baluch rebels are there almost since the time of independence, because the Khan of Khalat, he actually declared independence, and then Pakistan took over Baluchistan. They've never recognized that. And all the, tremendous amount of resources that they have in Baluchistan, they're not being used for the benefit of the Baluch people, but the money is all being taken away by the central government, just like they were doing with East Pakistan. When Bangladesh was a part of West Pakistan. I think one more important point is that Pakistan has always considered Afghanistan as strategic depth for them, that they will be able to control Afghanistan and it will give them the strategic depth against India. And during the Taliban's first regime, they were successful, because the Taliban is supposed to be a creation of the ISI, right from the very beginning. But in Taliban 2, in the second regime, the Taliban is exerting its independence. We know that Afghanistan has never been conquered by any foreign power, whether it's the British or anybody else, and they cherish their independence. The Foreign Minister Muttaqi spoke about this when during his visit and press conferences in India. So I think this is an important point that Pakistan has lost its strategic depth. But that very important point that I'd like to make is that the TTP, Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, which Pakistan accuses Afghanistan of supporting, is one thing. And the second thing is that Taliban talks about the ISKP, Islamic State of Khorasan Province, which they say is a creation of the Pakistan ISI. And this ISKP has been conducting terrorist attacks even in Moscow and many other places. And in fact, the Foreign Minister Muttaqi gave a lot of details about this. And I think that this point about Pakistan ISI support for the ISKP, Islamic State of Khorasan Province, this should be really, told to the world, because here is Pakistan pretending to have good relations with countries like America, but then they're supporting terrorist groups all the time. So I think that, this is a very important aspects of the terrorist activities of the ISI.
Or is it because of the fact, General Kocher, that the Quetta Shura is losing control of the Kandahar Shura, because people think it's government to government, but the Shuras also play a very important role, and Quetta Shura actually drove a lot of things in the last 25 years. Do you feel that they're also losing control of the Kandahar Shura?
Very right, because see the way the situation is developing and the way the Chinese are actually coming into that region of Baluchistan, there is a lot of discontentment among the people, and you mentioned about the Quetta Shura also, because it does impact when the entire population, almost 52% of the population in Baluchistan are Baluchis. So it does affect that kind of a psyche. And one more important aspect, if you remember, some time back, Pakistan's foreign minister going to Kazakhstan also trying to contact the Northern Alliance people to contain Taliban in Afghanistan, because Pakistan, Pakistan-Taliban relations have been on the downside since 2022. It's now 3 years. And if I would narrate to you, in the coast, there were major clashes in September 2024. There was an airstrike in Pak-tika in December 2024. So major differences are emerging now, and therefore I would not like to relate it only to the foreign minister's visit, because the deterioration and the kind of airstrikes which Pakistan was doing over a period of time in the last 1 year, I would say, because there have been very heavy casualties on the part of the Pakistan army officers, including senior officers have lost their life. So Pakistan army was losing its image amongst the people of Pakistan. It had to do something.
Okay.
And therefore, we are finding this operations taking place because Pakistan army has been put on the back foot, according to statistics of the Pakistan International Studies of Peace in Islamabad.
I really don't know whether it's a back foot or not, but they do definitely have a bloody nose because Taliban had fought back. I really ran short of time. Thank you, both of you, for joining me on my on point 2. But there is still one more on point left, and that's on point 3. And on point 3 is on Hamas' new cycle of violence in Gaza. Hamas has gone on a rampage in Gaza since the ceasefire began, killing at least 33 people in crackdown on groups that have tested its grip. Pummeled by Israel during the war ignited by the October 7, 2023 attacks, Hamas has gradually sent its men back into the streets of Gaza. One key issue in the Trump's 20-point peace plan is to ensure a long-lasting peace is the disarmament of terrorist organization Hamas. Asked on his return about how long it will take, Donald Trump declared that the United States will disarm Hamas if it doesn't do it itself. As the Gaza war dragged on, a diminished Hamas is being challenged by powerful clans. Also, Hamas has ruled out any discussion of its arsenal, saying it would be ready to surrender its arms to a future Palestinian state. But let's see the package first.
In a stark assertion of Hamas's continued presence in Gaza, this video circulated on social media late Monday. It shows 7 men, alleged collaborators with Israel, being dragged into a circle, forced to their knees, and then shot from behind. Reuters has chosen to pause the video, which a Hamas source later confirmed as authentic. The green headbands worn by some of the masked, armed men in the video matched those worn by Hamas militants. The identity of the killed men could not be independently verified. The date the video was filmed could not be independently verified either, but a Hamas source said it happened on Monday in Gaza City. Though greatly weakened after 2 years of Israeli bombardment and ground incursions, Hamas has been gradually reasserting itself, moving back into the streets since the ceasefire took hold over the weekend. Residents said fighters have become increasingly visible, deploying along routes needed for aid deliveries. Palestinian security forces say dozens of people have been killed in clashes between Hamas militants and rivals in recent days. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has consistently maintained that the war cannot end until Hamas gives up its weapons and ceases to control Gaza. It's a demand that the fighters have rejected, torpedoing all previous peace efforts. US President Donald Trump, having announced that the war is now over, said on Monday that Hamas still had a temporary green light to keep order. Hamas sources told Reuters on Tuesday the group would tolerate no more violations of order in Gaza, which target collaborators, armed looters and drug dealers.
On this issue, I'm joined by Ali Piesh, Director International Relations, Israel Defense and Security Forum. He joins me live from Jerusalem. And I'm joined by Yanki Faber, Senior Journalist, the Orthodox Community of Israel, live from Tel Aviv. Thank you both of you for joining me. Let me straight away go to LA. It's unbelievable. I mean to say Hamas is back in Gaza and they have not even the basic needful has not been done. How do you expect the ceasefire to continue?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I would say what's interesting about the videos is that this is not brand new. This has been going on for quite some time. Once the American-backed Gaza Humanitarian Fund has been in operation, Hamas has been going out and executing Gazans who were getting their aid from the Gaza Humanitarian Fund, not getting their aid from Hamas. So this is something that was happening. The difference is that now it's getting international attention. Once the Trump-Netanyahu plan was unveiled a couple weeks ago, and then after President Trump's speech at the Israeli Knesset on Monday, there is a lot more anticipation, there is a lot more focus, and there is a little bit more accountability for what Hamas is doing. So the fact that we're discussing about some of these atrocities that Hamas is doing is very important to see that Hamas is not an element that should be in any way anybody should be seeing as governing, but they are brutal, and the need. It's not a matter of whether the Prime Minister Netanyahu said the war is going to end. The way that there will be peace, or there at least will be a real end of the fighting, is when Hamas is disbanded, and that is both for Israeli security as well as for the security of the Gazan people.
Yangi, how can Hamas be dismantled? Because if you say that, Hamas leaves Gaza, Hamas can still operate from Lebanon. It can operate from independent pockets which are, adjoining Israel. How do you dismantle an organization which doesn't want itself to be dismantled?
Well, as we speak, the commander of CENTCOM in the United States Army just announced and he called Hamas to stop killing the people in Gaza. Well, since Israel left most of Gaza, Hamas is basically killing everybody that was against them, and we saw what you just showed on the TV, on the video, how they just kill, and they've been doing it since the ceasefire started.
Yankee, are you saying that the terrorist infrastructure is still kicking, still hidden? The tunnels?
Again, sorry?
Are you saying that the infrastructure built by Hamas is still there?
Yes, Hamas is in control in Gaza. I mean, not in all Gaza, but probably like 50% of Gaza. They're trying to rebuild the tunnels. They're trying to show. The reason why they actually showing those videos to the public is because they want to make sure that everybody in Gaza sees it and nobody will ever dare to go against them. Now, America, United States, has warned Gaza, has warned Hamas to stop this killing, but I don't think Hamas listens. Well, you have to understand, there isn't any real leaders in Gaza. There is maybe one or two, terrorist leaders, and all the rest are hiding in Qatar or Turkey or in some other country. Nobody really controls Gaza. It's like a whole bunch of people with the Kalashnikov, with weapons, and they're just walking around Gaza and trying to control Gaza. Gaza looks like Germany after the Second World War. I don't understand how people can live in Gaza, and the best for the people of Gaza is they should leave Gaza and rebuild the whole place. But they don't want to, and also Egypt is against it. Seriously, the world is now watching how people are killing each other in Gaza, and you can see that nobody cares. Why? Because they kill each other. Israel is not involved. The Jewish people are not involved. So the world doesn't care if they kill each other, if they destroy the rest of what's left of Gaza. And the way it looks like, it's going to be like this in the next few weeks.
Okay, let me play out about to Donald Trump, and then I'm going to go to Elish. And Elish, my question is Gaza getting broken into number of warlords, but after what Trump says?
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do. Above all else, get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms.
Eli, the question remains the same. Is Gaza getting divided into warlords, different militia groups?
More than likely. Hamas will do some of them, but there are other warlords, there are other clan leaders that were there. This is something that we've been speaking about for the last 2 years. Not just that it was likely to happen in Gaza, but we're already seeing that happening in Judea and Samaria, what many call the West Bank. Why? Because there are many clans that are very concerned and are frankly petrified about a potential creation of a Palestinian state. They've seen how brutal and how corrupt the Palestinian Authority is, the leaders in the Palestinian movement. And one of the things that really has changed is that these people, both in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank, they've seen how Israel have treated the Druze in Syria, an ethnic minority outside of Israel's borders that Israel has been protecting, sending humanitarian aid, protecting, despite the fact that many countries, many allies of Israel, have been pushing and pressuring Israel to abandon them, to allow al-Shara, the leader of Syria, to be presented as an international leader, a respected international leader, not the former ISIS terrorist, but as an international leader. As long as Israel is there, it's protecting the Druze, it is quite obvious that there are major problems about al-Shara. Israel is continuing to protect the Druze, and I think you can start seeing a lot of other minorities and other groups understanding that Israel will be there to protect them if they are doing effectively, fighting back against Hamas, fighting against corruption, fighting back against Palestinian entities that threaten the security of Israel.
Yankee, do you feel that Hamas can go the Hezbollah way? They don't dismantle, disappear from Gaza, go to other countries and continue to attack Israel from there?
I don't think so. Maybe some of the people in Gaza, maybe some of the leaders that were still alive in Gaza will take the chance that Israel and the United States have offered. they should leave Gaza and they will be and nobody will touch them, nobody will kill them. But you need to understand.
But where will they go? The whole question is, they're not going to go to Qatar. They're not going to walk all the way to Qatar.
Yeah, but you know, it's not safe for Hamas anywhere in the world. Israel has shown that they can kill Hamas members in Iran, in Qatar. The only place they haven't done it is Turkey, because I think they don't want to mess around with Erdogan. But you need to understand the amount of hate the people in Gaza, I mean Hamas, has against Israel. They want to destroy us. They want to destroy the country. They don't want to go to a different country. They want to stay in Gaza, keep living in tunnels, keep living the way they live, and want to kill Jews. They want to kill Israelis. They don't want to go to a different country, because if they would want to go, they would have done it a long time ago. I don't see how Hamas is leaving nicely Gaza, only if Israel or maybe, I don't know, some other countries will destroy the rest of Hamas.
If we say that Hamas is not going to leave Gaza, then how will you have a lasting agreement for a ceasefire? I'm not even talking about a peace plan, resettlement, or sort of a political resolution, idea of a political state. Just a basic ceasefire.
Yeah, the ceasefire is going to have to be enforced by Israel.
And has that issue been resolved of the dead bodies of the hostages? Has that been resolved, Irish?
Not yet. Not yet. We still have many of the dead bodies of hostages have not been returned, which is obviously a major concern. And it's something that Israel obviously is very sensitive about. And Israel is not going to give up on. One of the hostages who are waiting for someone who's been a hostage for almost a decade, Hadar Golden, was killed in a previous engagement, and we're still waiting for his body to return. So Israel is not giving up. But I think the thing that has fundamentally changed is that, you know, when President Trump came into office, there was a hostage deal, and that happened, and the hostage was released the day that President Trump was inaugurated. That deal was between Trump, Israel, and Hamas, brokered by Qatar. This time, it was different. This was a deal between Trump and Qatar. Hamas is not a party to the negotiation, it's Qatar. And that's why President Trump felt confident traveling to Israel, expecting that he will see hostages, that he could celebrate, that he had returned the hostages, even before he left D.C. and there were no hostages in Israel. He knew that it was going to happen. He knew Hamas was going to play games with him and try to embarrass him, because Qatar was not going to stand for it. And I think that is, if there is a hope that right now something may change, Qatar's relationship with the U.S. is contingent upon this deal moving forward.
Absolutely.
And if this deal doesn't move forward, that is something that Qatar will have to decide what they want to do. Do they want to protect Hamas, or do they want to value the relationship?
I think the behavior of these states needs to change, and I think even the behavior of Erdogan, though changed for a bit under Trump's pressure, needs to change in a longer run, that he can't patronize Hamas leadership through political patronage, and its cadre through financial patronage. Thank you both of you for joining me. And this is all I had on point today. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा के संग त्योहार की उमंग। सर वाटर प्रूफिंग के लिए बेस्ट है।
वेंकी जी, एक छोटा सा गिफ्ट बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस देने के लिए।
ऐसा क्या है इसमें?
1 साल में वाटर प्रूफिंग को कुछ भी हुआ तो वापस करके देंगे।
वापस करके देंगे?
वो भी फ्री। पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
मेरी बेटी के अभी से बाल झड़ रहे हैं, मैं क्या करूं?
2 स्पून ही काफी है। लायन डेट सिरप, इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स और किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। आयरन यानी बाल झड़ने से रोकथाम। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं।
लायन डेट्स